Hey everyone, and welcome to a deep dive into the Netherlands. Today we discuss the Dutch Constitution and facts, and how this nation fits into the bigger picture of the European Union.
It's going to be fascinating.
Oh yeah,
I think.
definitely.
Absolutely. And we're going to be looking at a profile of the Netherlands from the European Union's official website.
So it's straight from the source.
Yes.
Perfect for anyone planning a trip, or maybe you have a meeting with some Dutch colleagues, or maybe you're just curious like me about this really unique country.
Yeah, and I think this will be a great way to get up to speed on their unique form of governance and how they fit into the EU.
All right, let's jump right in. Did you know that while Amsterdam is the capital, the government actually operates from The Hague?
That's right, yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, Amsterdam is considered the capital, but The Hague is where all the government buildings and the parliament and everything is.
Okay, interesting. So it's like a little bit of a separation there between the sort of cultural and the heart of the country, and then all the government stuff happens.
Exactly, and that kind of leads into how the Netherlands is structured. They have a really interesting system called a parliamentary constitutional monarchy.
Okay, break that down for us.
So, you have a king.
Right.
Who serves as the head of state, but this is largely a symbolic role.
Okay.
The real power lies with the prime minister.
Gotcha.
Who leads the government and kind of handles the day-to-day business.
Okay, so a little bit of pomp and circumstance, but with like a modern government.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a nice blend of tradition and kind of the realities of modern governance.
I like it. But here's where I thought things got really interesting. The Dutch have a serious love for decentralization.
Oh, yeah. I mean, huge. We're
Right.
talking 12 provinces, 342 municipalities, and get this, 21 water boards.
Okay, water bars. Now you're just messing with me. What is a water
No, this is a real thing.
Okay.
So if you think about it, right, the Netherlands has spent centuries battling the sea, literally reclaiming land, keeping it dry.
Right.
Those water boards, they manage this incredibly complex network of dikes and canals and pumps.
Wow.
It's crucial for the country's survival.
It's making me think of like the Army Corps of Engineers, but for like the entire country.
Exactly, and on a scale that's hard to even imagine.
Wow, that's really impressive. So it's kind of baked into their DNA, this whole like water management thing.
Absolutely. It's part of their history, their culture. It's everywhere.
So speaking of history, the source also mentioned something about some Caribbean territories.
Right. So there are these 6 Caribbean islands and territories that are part of the Kingdom of the Netherlands.
Okay.
But here's the thing. They're not part of the European Union.
Oh, interesting.
So it adds this whole other layer to their relationship with the EU.
Right, because they have this like historical connection, but not necessarily the same like
Exactly.
governmental ties or...
Yeah, it's a unique situation for sure.
It's a fun fact.
Yeah.
Let me use that one.
Yeah.
But let's shift gears a little bit. Let's talk about the Dutch economy. They're known for their tulips, their windmills, and being kind of an economic powerhouse.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the Netherlands has the 3rd highest GDP per capita in the entire EU.
Wow.
We're talking 48,900 euros compared to the EU average of 37,600.
Okay, so significantly higher
Oh, yeah.
than the average.
It translates to a much higher quality of life for a lot of citizens.
So what does that look like in real life? Like, how does that actually translate to the average person living in the Netherlands?
Well, think about things like really advanced infrastructure, robust social programs, a thriving startup environment, and just a culture of innovation.
Okay, so they're investing in their people and in their future.
Yeah, and their economy is a big deal for the EU. They make up 6.3% of the total GDP.
Wow, so they're pulling their weight.
Yeah, they're definitely punching above their weight in terms of economic contributions.
Okay, so now let's talk about their role in the EU. It seems like they're pretty active in shaping policies and decisions.
Oh, yeah. They're not just members. They're really engaged.
Okay.
They've got 31 representatives in the European Parliament. Oh, yeah.
Which lets them advocate for Dutch interests and contribute to EU legislation.
Makes sense.
And then they're very active in the Council of the EU.
Okay, so they have a seat at the table where all the big decisions are happening.
Oh, yeah. And every 6 years, the Netherlands gets to hold the rotating presidency of the Council.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So they set the agenda. They guide discussions for all the member states.
So they get to be in charge for a little while.
In a way, yeah, they get to kind of steer the ship for a bit.
I like it.
And on top of that, they've got a Dutch commissioner in the European Commission. His name is Wopke Hoekstra, and he's currently focused on climate action.
That's really interesting, especially considering their history with water management. It seems fitting that they would have a strong voice in climate action.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I'm sure some people are wondering, like, what's in it for the Netherlands? Why be so involved in the EU?
Yeah, that's a fair question, and the source is pretty clear. The benefits far outweigh the costs.
Okay.
The Netherlands gets access to the single market, which is huge. What does that mean exactly?
So basically, it's the free movement of goods, services, capital, and people across the EU.
Oh, okay.
It's a huge boon for the Dutch economy.
Yeah, that makes sense. It opens up all these opportunities.
Absolutely. And then there's the whole thing about collective action on global challenges,
Yes.
right? The EU provides this platform for member states to work together on issues like climate change, security, migration. They pool their resources and expertise.
Yeah, it's about tackling problems that are bigger than any one country can handle on their own.
Exactly. And let's not forget about the EU funding that flows into the Netherlands for various projects. This supports everything from infrastructure development to research and innovation.
So it's kind of like a two-way street.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're contributing, but they're also getting a lot back in return.
Right. And it's a system that's designed for fairness and shared prosperity.
Okay, so it seems like a win-win situation for everyone involved. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. We've covered a lot of ground here, from the ins and outs of the Dutch Constitution to their impressive economy and their deep involvement in the EU.
Yeah, it's a lot to take in.
But we've only just scratched the surface. There's so much more to explore when it comes to the Netherlands and their unique position in the world.
There is.
We'll dive deeper into some of those details in just a moment, but first we need to take a quick break.
Sounds good.
We're back and ready to continue our deep dive into the Netherlands before we move on. I wanted to circle back to something that really struck me, those incredible waterboards.
Ah, yes, a testament to Dutch ingenuity and their centuries-long battle against the sea.
I mean, they haven't just survived. They've thrived, creating a system that keeps the country dry and prosperous.
And what's so fascinating is that their expertise in water management could hold valuable lessons for other parts of the world facing the challenges of climate change.
Yeah, that's true.
Rising sea levels, extreme weather events. It's a global concern, and the Dutch, they've got a wealth of knowledge to share.
Yeah, it really makes you realize that what might seem like a niche area of expertise can actually have global implications.
Absolutely. And it speaks to this broader theme of interconnectedness, which is something we see playing out in the Netherlands' relationship with the EU.
Right, they're not just a member state. They're actively shaping the future of Europe through their participation in the European Parliament, the Council of the EU, and the European Commission.
And it's really interesting to consider how their history and their national character influences their approach to European affairs, for example. Their commitment to decentralization that we talked about earlier is reflected in their advocacy for more power to be given to individual member states within the EU.
That's a great point. It shows how their domestic policies and values really inform their actions on the European stage.
Exactly.
But let's zoom in on the benefits they receive from EU membership.
Okay.
The source highlighted some pretty key advantages, like access to the single market, which allows for the free movement of goods, services, capital, and people.
Right, that's huge.
It's like this vast network of trade and collaboration.
Exactly, and it's a huge boon for the Dutch economy.
And then there's a collective action on global challenges that we touched on a bit earlier.
Yeah.
The EU provides a platform for member states to work together on issues like climate change, security migration. They pool their resources and their expertise.
It's about tackling problems that no single nation can really solve on their own.
Exactly. And let's not forget about the EU funding that flows into the Netherlands for various projects.
Right.
This supports everything from infrastructure development to research and innovation.
Yeah, it's a really tangible demonstration of the EU's commitment to shared prosperity.
Now, all of this comes at a cost, of course.
Of course.
The Netherlands contributes to the EU budget just like all member states.
Right.
But, as we discussed earlier, the source makes it clear that the benefits they reap far outweigh the financial contributions.
It's a mutually beneficial relationship. It strengthens both the Netherlands and the EU as a whole.
Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive, what are some key takeaways that our listeners should remember about the Netherlands?
Well, I think first and foremost, their commitment to water management is truly remarkable. It's a story of human resilience and innovation that offers valuable lessons for the world.
Absolutely.
And then there's their economic strength, right? They're a powerhouse within the EU, contributing significantly to its overall prosperity.
Yeah, no question about it.
And finally, their active participation in European affairs really shows a deep commitment to shaping the future of the continent.
Yeah, it's a reminder that even a relatively small nation can have a significant impact on the global stage.
Absolutely.
I think what's most fascinating to me is how their history, their values, and their expertise all come together to create this unique position in the world.
It really is. It's a compelling story that highlights the interconnectedness of nations and the power of collaboration in addressing shared challenges.
Well said.
Thank you.
And on that note, we've reached the end of our deep dive into the Netherlands. Hopefully you've gained some new insights and a greater appreciation for this remarkable country.
Yeah, I really hope so.
And remember, this is just the beginning of your exploration. There's a wealth of information out there waiting to be discovered.
Absolutely.
So keep those minds curious and keep exploring. Wow, we've covered so much in this deep dive.
Yeah, we have.
Their unique system of government, their economic power, how closely they work with the EU, and of course, those amazing water boards.
It really is remarkable how much you can learn about a country from just one source.
Yeah, it's true. But it really does feel like just a starting point.
Oh, for sure. Just a glimpse into a really fascinating place.
I'm personally so fascinated by their history of innovation.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to that water management.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot more to uncover there.
Like, how about their urban planning?
Mm-hmm.
Their sustainable building practices?
Yeah, or even their approach to agriculture. I mean, it's all shaped by their relationship with water.
And I bet there are tons of other fascinating stories hidden within their history and culture.
Absolutely. The Netherlands is a nation with so much to offer, so many experiences and perspectives. I really encourage you to keep exploring those threads.
So if you're looking for your next deep dive, I say dive into the Netherlands.
Yeah, great idea.
You might be surprised by what you find.
I think you will.
And who knows, maybe you'll even find some inspiration for tackling challenges we face in our own communities.
That'd be fantastic.
After all, learning from others is one of the best ways to expand our understanding of the world and ourselves. So keep those minds curious, and until next time, happy exploring.
Happy exploring.